Reddit. What is a body language trick you use to help you in certain situations? Standing side by side with my employees, instead of face to face, when coaching them so they feel like they're being encouraged instead of reprimanded. You can do this in a lot of situations, like literally standing by someone who you think needs support in a conversation. Whenever I'm in a bad neighborhood, I always tend to try walking with intent, like I know exactly where I'm going and what I'm doing there instead of looking lost and confused. Brisk walking pace, standing up straight, blank expressionless face. I live in Far East Oakland and I have this friend who swears by this method when walking from the BART station to my house. Take your pants off. Even crackheads and thugs will be like, damn, that white dude crazy with no pants. They will avoid you like crazy. If you encounter an aggressive dog that is thinking of attacking you, keep your body sideways to the dog and look to the side of his gaze. Don't look below his eyes and don't make and hold eye contact. In dog language this roughly translates into I am not a threat, but neither am I prey. Let's go our separate ways. I normally just threaten a dog with legal action. In dog language this roughly translates into they finally see us as equals legally, and now I civil responsibilities to not incite violence. I'm a bus driver. If you are standing at an optional stop, if you start backing away as I approach, I know you don't want my bus. If you put your phone in your pocket and step closer to the curb and make eye contact with me, I know I need to stop. I tend to back away when it comes as the wind or whatever it is kind of annoying and I would rather not get it, so yeah. Twice the bus driver didn't stop and I had to wait another 20 minutes. Since then I've accepted my fate. Act like you really like what you're doing, even if you hate it. Basically the same logic as shown in whitewashing the fence in Tom Sawyer. For example, once when I was living with flatmates, the three of us decided to split the task to cook meals. One guy did the prep work, one guy cooked, and I got the unlucky job of doing the dishes. I always acted like I enjoyed the task, to the point where they thought I had the cushiest gig amongst us all. 3 weeks later, the guy who was doing the prep work couldn't take it anymore, and offered to switch with me. I gladly obliged. I'd totally take doing the dishes over prep work. Picking my nose. No one picks their nose while being watched. No one approaches someone picking their nose. So, next time you're sitting in traffic with no seatbelt and a cop rolls up next to you, don't stare. Don't try and stealthily put it on. Just pick your nose and they'll ignore you. Guilty people always assume a cop is watching, and thus, wouldn't pick their nose. Innocent people have nothing to worry about. Next time someone is trying to make you join their cult caused by their mixtape on the street, pick your nose. They won't say a word. At work, when I sense a customer is in a bad mood, will give me trouble, I smile super big and laugh a lot. Sounds ridiculous, but it works 90% of the time. I never have issues with anyone because they end up laughing too. If you are talking with someone and they have one foot pointed at you and the other in a different direction, they want to go in that direction. They are done talking to you and are just being nice. I've noticed that the foot pointing in another direction occurs more quickly if you keep staring at their feet during the conversation. If I'm in a restaurant and I want to see if a person is tuned into me, I'll take a sip of my drink and see if they take a sip of their drink right afterwards. I also do that mirroring thing. I'll lean forward to see if they will, and then maybe lean back about 10 minutes later. Then suddenly they're leaning back. Then I'll lean forward again, but put my elbows on the table. It's really kind of fun. I do a bit of counseling. When people are struggling with telling me a personal secret, I look away and start doing something else absent-mindedly, arranging a shelf. It releases the tension of your direct stare, and I've noticed it makes them hurry to finish the story quickly before you bring your gaze back. I'm going to adopt this one. So far it is the most positive suggestion in the thread. It really helps people help themselves. I look to the left or right of people to let them know which way I'm going in a crowd so I can get through faster. It works about 80% of the time. I make a kind of diving praying motion with my hands in the direction I plan to go. I'm a substitute teacher. When a random student wanders into my classroom when they are not supposed to be there, I shake their hand, smile, introduce myself, and gradually walk them out the door before they realize what I'm doing. I've noticed that when I'm talking with people, even doing something like nodding and motioning your arms like the thinker will make people talk more openly to you because they feel more confident and intelligent. What they are saying is suddenly more profound and interesting because I have to think about it. Just the act of you simulating a contemplation during their dialogue goes miles in how they will engage you. People will be more inclined to talk to you about stuff they normally wouldn't because you are giving them the response they want. If you are quiet and respond calmly when they ask you questions, this also makes you appear more wise. And sooner or later, they'll be asking you for advice and sharing more secrets. Haha, joke's on you sucker, I don't know crap. When I started college, I would always make it a point to walk around campus with a 55% smile. Not like I am way too excited about life, but just enough where I was content and pleased with the way things were going. Whenever I walked past someone I didn't know, I would look at them as if I knew them. 55% smile, and either give a head nod or a "what's up, how's it going," and continue walking. After that initial smile and greeting, people would want to come meet me at parties and around campus because I seemed like a happy person they'd want to hang out with. Senior year, I met a very attractive girl who had pictures of me from a party freshman year that were clearly her just taking a picture of me from across the room and nothing else. Creepy, but she was cute, so there's no such thing. I can recall always seeing her around campus and smiling, and apparently this gave me a mysterious cute guy persona that she loved. May require steps 1 and 2 for success. Not really body language, but I feel I get a lot of different, often better, responses from people when I wear my glasses versus when I'm without them. With glasses, I'm perceived as smarter, people respect me more, and strangers often anticipate me to be shy or meek instead of loud and boisterous. Without, I'm more attractive, in that I get approached in public more often, perceived as more belligerent, having attitude, and I get scolded at work more for petty things, like legitimate use of personal days because I had the flu. It's basically a personal rule for me now to have my glasses on at interviews, important functions, and whenever I see the bosses about anything. My prescription is just bad enough that I'd need them to drive, if I drove, but not completely essential to function in everyday life. That's very interesting. I do the same thing. My day job I usually have my glasses on, but when I am out and about, off they go. I read somewhere that eating food whilst walking through a rough neighborhood would help prevent you from getting mugged. Read this as well. Apparently normally your body wouldn't want food while in a dangerous situation, so by eating you trick your body into thinking it's okay. Also this sends the signal to other people that you aren't threatened or scared, because if you were you wouldn't be eating. If a girl flips her hair, she's interested. If she looks at you, looks down, then looks back up into your eyes, she's interested. If she touches her face while talking to you, she's nervous and interested. If she leaves to go use the restroom and never returns, she's not interested. If she calls the cops and files a restraining order, she's definitely not interested. When in an awkward situation, you can use your legs by moving them up and down while simultaneously applying a slight force to push you in the opposite direction. Your description of walking makes me think that you are the awkward situation. I remember reading this in Life Pro Tips. If you're having a group conversation and someone interrupts, if you don't face the interrupter, it doesn't allow them to siphon attention. Not recent, but this has helped me in the past during interviews. When the interviewer is laying back in their chair, head tilted slightly upwards, arms open, they are waiting for you to say something that will impress them. Now is a good time to give an example of a thing you did, and how it turned out well. When the interviewer is sitting on the edge of their seat, elbows on the table, leaning forward, you have their full attention. Now is a good time to answer questions directly and speak from experience. When the interviewer is sitting upright, arms folded, pen on the table, you have said something that frustrates or disappoints them. Now is a good time to make a self-deprecating joke, or admit you're a bit nervous and would like a glass of water. When the interviewer is leaning toward you, arms folded, they are trying to speak to you as directly as possible so as to get a direct answer. Now is a good time to listen to the interviewer, ask for clarification if necessary, and keep your answers short and on point. When the interviewer is brushing their face, ear, neck, or other upper body part with their free, that is, not pen holding, hand, they are getting tired and are not paying attention to you. Now is a good time to make a polite joke to lighten the mood, or to ask the interviewer a question to draw them back into the conversation. When the interviewer is sitting back, legs and arms crossed, they have chosen to stop listening to you. Now is a good time to consider where you parked, because you're likely to be done with the interview quite soon. There are other tells, depending on interviewers, but these are pretty general ones I was taught and picked up that have helped in a few situations. I believe taking this advice is a good way to overthink and freak up an interview. Body language cues are important to pick up on during an interview, but not as important as the interview itself. Just have a good attitude. Smile and act like you want to be there. If you act like a leader, then people will like you and follow. They'll just be following the first follower, though. My husband would always drive in the left lane even if he was holding up traffic. Drove me crazy. I learned that if I leaned forward a little and looked into my side passenger mirror, like I was checking to see if that lane was clear, he would invariably move over to the right. I never had to say a word. He never caught on. Went on for years. People naturally mimic the posture of people they like when interacting. I've found that doing so deliberately can put people at ease when talking to them. If about to be harangued by street charity thieves, you must maintain a straight posture, stare straight ahead of you, and walk without blinking until they are out of sight. Regardless of what they open with, I simply tell them no thank you and keep walking. It works because that's how normal humans operate in real life. When I'm in the pub and my pint is empty, I simply climb up on the table holding my glass upside down and start smacking it like a ketchup bottle while glaring at the barmaid. When I'm in the pub and my pint is empty, I simply climb up on the table holding my glass upside down and start smacking it like a ketchup bottle while glaring at the barmaid wench. Fiffy. I run my fingers over the desk or table, as if playing a sonata on a grand piano, eyes closed. People assume I'm lost in my own world of music, and maybe it's not a good time to talk. I do this too, but over a keyboard at work. I call it meditative coding. I stare people down in meetings when I know they are full of crap. I can tell when they shift their weight, cough, etc., that they're uncomfortable. It's not like they can complain about me paying attention, is it? Of course they're gonna be uncomfortable if someone's staring at them. If you are faced with conflict, standing at a 45-degree angle with your least dominant arm almost outstretched fully, your more dominant arm retracted so your hand is in front and below your chin, as if you are holding a microphone, and with both palms open and facing the aggressor, the out-facing and open palms should help lower the aggression and put you are in an ideal position to defend yourself should your aggressor attack. Opening up the front of my body to make people trust me more. This sounds kind of sexual, but that isn't what I mean. I mean standing with your shoulders, arms, etc. open instead of hunched or crossed. I imagined you as a robot taking your front panel off. A common tactic taught when driving. Works on crowded sidewalks too. Look where you're intending to go. You know that awkward moment when you and a stranger are in each other's path on the sidewalk? Simply choose early. Look to the side of them that you intend to go, and they will automatically gravitate the other direction. If you find yourself looking at them, that's where you'll end up. I love breaking seating conventions at two-person meals with friends. Who wants to sit opposite each other, far apart and confrontationally? Sitting side by side or sitting at a square table with a corner in between is the best. Easier to talk in low voices, be cozy, share food, and people watch. YMMV regarding the layout of the restaurant. My preference is usually for the square table, corner between you arrangement. The table isn't a barrier between you anymore, but neither are you right there next to them, in their personal space. You're also at a good angle to both make eye contact and to break from eye contact. When working in a liquor store, I occasionally had individuals or gangs try to intimidate me. To de-escalate the situation but remain on charge, I would get into an uncomfortably close proximity to the aggressor but showing my open hands and making eye contact. The open hands say I don't want to fight you. The eye contact and proximity say I'm also not afraid of you. If something does kick off, you are in a perfect position to shove or block the attacker. I learned this technique from an old friend who teaches self-defense. I used it at least twice and it worked. When someone is frantically talking and won't shut up and you're attempting to talk, just holding your hand up and slowly closing it into a beak will help them shut the heck up. If that doesn't work, then kill them. When addressing groups of people, straighten your spine. Don't lock your knees and face them in an open manner. Do not turn any part of your body inwards. Hands behind back, crossed legs etc. Palms facing the recipient, and look at them above their nose. This establishes dominance and works well with either groups of people or drunk idiots or teacher and bartender. Don't know if this counts, but when you get pulled over by a cop, pull over, put your hazards on, turn your car off and put both hands on the wheel with the window rolled down. Say yes sir and no sir. Show that you are respectful and not in any way a threat to the cop or anyone else. This could make the stop quicker and possibly get you out of tickets. Arguing does not help. Getting an attitude does not help. Instead of fingering people on the roads, I give them a thumbs up. You know when you get a sarcastic thumbs up, you fricked up real bad. Source: I got a thumbs up and realized I fricked up. I also finger people on the road. Not necessarily a trick or even a good thing, but I notice that when I am talking to someone who seems uncomfortable, I automatically start portraying body language like I am uncomfortable too. I know I am doing it, but I can't help it, even if I am not uncomfortable. It's like my brain says it will make them feel better if I am uncomfortable and tense too, lol. Same thing like group projects. When someone says they're so confused and don't understand, I'll agree and say me too, even if I do understand. I know there's a name for this phenomena. I am thinking it's groupthink, but I am not positive. I think it is called mirroring, and yeah, it is supposed to put the other more at ease and make you seem more interested in them. If your dog is acting up, start yawning. It'll calm the dog down because yawning is a sign of anxiety, and it means, okay, I'm ready for everyone to settle down. I've tried it with people and it works. As a frequent pedestrian, I often have the right of way when interacting with car traffic, but frequently I'd prefer the cars to go about their business. I'd rather wait 2 seconds for them to go through an intersection than wait 5 seconds for them to stop and let me through. Waving people through is unproductive, because they'll often wave me right back, and we get into a little standoff that's even more time consuming and stupid than the other options. So I use body language that implies I have no intention of crossing at all and don't even realize the cars are there. I'll admire some flowers, or tie my shoe, or look at my phone. Motorists see that and understand that it's okay to proceed as normal. I do this. Sometimes it's as easy as just refusing to look at the car and just standing there. If they know you can't see them wave you, they just go. It seems rude at first, but it really is the only way to solve the problem of making a car go before you instead of walking in front of it, which I don't like to do. When smiling at people I don't know or have just met, I crinkle the corners of my eyes a bit. Makes smile look much more genuine and makes people think I'm a lot friendlier than I am. A bit late, but if you're with a group of people and having a hard time getting them to go, plans for dinner, movie, etc., take out your keys and jingle them. A lot of people associate this sound with getting ready to go and act accordingly. I do this to my friends. They haven't caught on yet. I'm really crap in social situations. Small talk is heck for me. I have long hair, so when I'm in a situation I can't deal with, I'll let me hair come past my eyes and don't let the other person see my face, eyes, and it's surprising how often it stops small talk from continuing. I hate doing it too, as it feels so rude. It's because it's unnerving if a person won't look you in the eyes, or worse, is purposefully hiding them. Press your fingers together like a pyramid, if that makes sense. I remember hearing that it makes one look more powerful or something. I've done it and it makes me feel slightly more confident. Okay there, Mr. Burns. If I'm ever in an awkward situation and want to leave without anyone asking questions, I'll just yell 5 and 5 equals camel, then speed walk the frick out of there. People will be so confused they just won't ask questions and will not bring it up again. If you're in a hurry, be it at the gas station, grocery store, or a crowded store or mall, this works especially well at festivals or concerts. All you need to do is avoid eye contact with everyone and look with your head up in the direction you're walking and people will get out of the way. The trick is to not make eye contact with anyone. Soon as you do, People will subconsciously register you're looking at them and will be a part of the decision-making process of which side you're passing them on. If you avoid eye contact, you stay in control of the flow of your own relative motion to them and they will move every time. I live in a very densely populated city, so this trick comes in handy almost daily, and it's a great way to avoid those run-ins with people you may know, because well, you literally didn't see them. In a conversation, if you make a fist with one of your hands and quickly make contact with the other person using that fist, they'll want to talk to you less. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.